Welcome to Rising. Thank you for tuning in. Today I am joined by Nayyera. Thank you for being with us.
Good to be with you, Robby.
All right, let's get to our first story. The Biden White House lashing out at Fox News, the New York Post, and RNC Research over, quote, cheap fake videos that it says show the president as old and doddering. Let's take a look at a snippet. So the administration says that right-wing networks are altering and even manipulating videos to make it look like Biden is in more of a state of confusion than he actually is. This began, of course, last week with the New York Post when the Murdoch-owned publication showed a clip of Biden with G7 leaders watching a skydiving demonstration. And then the full view of the event shows Biden walking away to gesture toward one of the skydivers you can see here on the screen. The New York Post version showed a somewhat narrower angle before being pulled back by Italy's prime minister. It was less clear what Biden was doing there. Now, Fox News showed a video where people are dancing and Biden is just looking around. Let's see that. The outlet wrote on X, "No one's home. President Biden appears to freeze as Vice President Harris and others dance next to him at a Juneteenth event." Now, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre weighed in when asked about those videos on Monday. Let's listen.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation.
Fox fired back yesterday, rejecting claims that it manipulated these videos.
These have not been cropped, they have not been sped up or slowed down or edited in any way.
The latest video under scrutiny shows Biden walking off stage with former President Barack Obama after finishing an interview with Jimmy Kimmel. In a clip shared by RNC Research, Biden appears to freeze before Obama grabs his arm and leads him off stage. That's what you're seeing here. Now, Obama's campaign fired back. Obama senior advisor Eric Schultz said this did not happen, rejecting claims that Biden froze and Obama led him off stage. Media fact checkers have noted the videos are shown from different angles and are missing context. The missing context, P, is the thing, right? And to say that these videos have not been edited, that is a lie. Every video shown on TV gets edited, right? You make a decision when you're sitting as an editor, you're going to start at this point, you're going to cut off at that point. Those are choices that get made. So the editing happens. The discretion, the choices are under discussion, but they're still not cheap fakes. It is actual video. What's the story that you're telling?
Right. I would say what Karine Jean-Pierre said was a lie. They're not manipulated. They're not deep fakes. Now, some of that, we can take each one of these three. The one of him freezing during the dancing, I don't really, I too in that situation would not dance. So fine, who cares? The one where the New York Post did, yes, you should see the whole video where he goes and is interested in what the parachute person is doing. I think that's better. The Obama leading him off one looks the same to me regardless of what angle it's shown from, and so I understand Fox News' anger being accused there of having done something wrong. But the bottom line for me is look, the White House, Karine Jean-Pierre, is frustrated that a vast number of Americans, a majority of Americans, I think even most Democrats, have serious concerns about Biden's age, and it comes through in these videos. And some of them look a little less, you can make them look a little bit more flattering or a little less flattering. I certainly think media organizations should be responsible and not, cut off when, okay, he's looking at the parachute guy. But even looking at the parachute, look, he looks old. He looks very old. And it's not like, oh, who are you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes? I mean, we know he looks old and out of it, and that's a serious concern for a lot of Americans.
And part of it is just accepting and leaning into the fact that Biden is old. Trump is old. We get it. This is not news to anybody. I get the frustration of videos that get edited just to cut off at a specific angle to make it look like he's quote unquote doddering, as opposed to he's actually talking to another human being. Now, when I was at the White House, Biden, his entire career is famous for just wanting to talk to a regular human, right? The parachute person. Let me stand in front of the crowd more. Let me shake more hands. So it is not unusual at all to try to take him and move him and be like, hi, you need to get back to the job of taking the photo or getting off stage. That is not being old, right? That's the challenge here, is the story. Now, the White House, I would say, should just lean into the fact, yeah, he's old. We know that. But what has he learned? What has he done? Instead of doing the Trump thing of attacking media, because the news.
Right. I thought that was a crime against humanity, to the enemies of the people, et cetera.
There is a way, as we are doing now, of showing the actual video and talking about it and discussing it that doesn't require insulting people. However, there is some responsibility on news organizations to make editorial choices that are actually informing their viewers, rather than editorial choices that are parroting political offices like the RNC, or inflaming viewers and what is already a perception. That's the piece that we're missing here, is tell people what is actually happening. If they think he is old, fine. He is old. What does that actually mean for what is a policy choice and two people who are running for the highest office of the land and their capability of serving in that office?
Sure, and that's why we showed the videos from all the angles and explained why they're upset about it, and then let people can judge for themselves.
We did it the right way, Robby.
She's going to be angry. The White House is going to be angry that people are reaching the conclusion based on these videos from any angle that he does appear doddering, and he appears being led around the way okay, that's enough, Grandpa. We got to get you back to your chair. And is that the right person to be president of the United States for another 4 years? It's not an endorsement of Trump. Trump is also very old. And again, for me, it comes more down to policies. These are the Biden policies I don't like. In fact, I don't like virtually any of them. Some of the Trump policies I don't like either. What a wonderful choice before the American people. But the American people do not find Trump to be, he is also old, and I wish we had different choices. We don't. Those are the, two, we have other choices too. We have third parties, independent parties. They're both very old, but they don't look old in the same way. Biden seems a lot older. He's literally older, and he's showing his age in a way Trump is not.
Yes.
And Trump has not changed as in the same way that Biden has over the last 5 or 10 years.
I'm assuming it's not the bleach that he's suggested putting in his veins to counter COVID, but there is something about Trump where, it's maybe the spray tan, it's maybe the comb over. There's something about him that he looks just as kind of wacko as he did a couple of years ago. And, there's a whole thing about how he wears his tie specifically longer than it should be, so that he doesn't look fat. There's all sorts of tricks. The guy clearly, as somebody who has spent a lifetime in television, he cares about his appearance in a way that Biden probably doesn't. Biden did get hair plugs back in the day. But Biden, I don't think, is as concerned about spray tan and Botox. And Biden does, if you're talking about two old people, like to connect with actual humans. That's some of what we see in the video. Trump likes to stand at a podium and just say whatever's on his mind and capture an audience for 4 hours, right?
People like that more.
But those are both different ways of being old, which is not, responsive in that same day-to-day way.
This is a communications job. The job is to be the most important communications job because, he has a team of people to do policy. He is articulating a vision of policy to the American people. And if that is the main part of the job, to look good on TV and to reassure the American people that the team behind you has the right policies for foreign policy and to rescue the economy and all that, this is the person they're leading with.
Well,
That's a problem. It's a huge problem.
The challenge then we have, as somebody who cares about policy, and so do I, is that in this environment, if this is how we operate, FDR would never, ever have been president in a wheelchair. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, well,
that the artifice of it matters more than the substance. And back then
there was no independent media to tell you, despite the fact that corporate media didn't want you to know the guy was in a wheelchair.
And here we have it.
Yeah.
This is what we get left with. We have these two people that, even despite third-party candidates, these are the likely two people that we will have to choose between in November.
Some choice. All right, more Rising right after this.